So that all that shit gets checked in. Yeah, all that stuff gets checked in. So
they wouldn't even let me take toothpaste on the plane.
No, you can't. Don't you can't.
Ridiculous.
You can't. If you take a nail clipper, it can't have the file on it with the little pin with the little point on it. I mean, they really are. They're very strict. So definitely never carry anything on that you shouldn't, that you need to be worried about. And as far as traveling with your stuff, man, look, I just gave you a bunch of solutions. Just get a pill organizer, know anything, and just fill your mutts, and you have your tabs in there. Very, very hard to get looked at. Bring real over-the-counter supplements, 4, 5, 6 bottles that you're taking with you. And in one of those, only a portion of them, load them up with your sauce, mark the sides, you're good. If you've got liquids, oral liquids that you drink, make sure to swap them out and replace them. Now, if you have injectables, you have oils that you got to take with you, that's rough. I probably would not do that. Now, again, if you're flying out of the U.S., you could take a chance just taking the labels off those bottles and flying with them blank, and maybe tossing them in with with something that's similar, maybe stuff, hair, facial care stuff. And you can, a customs official at the country you arrive in is busy enough. They don't, they're not going to sit there and try to, especially if you're going on a vacation to a third world country. Like I said, I'm using DR, Cancun as an example. They're not going to sit there and have a portal mass spectrometer to test what your stuff is. You're pretty in the clear. The main thing with traveling is don't travel with anything that says what the fuck it is on it, because you gave yourself out right away. If the stuff is just unlabeled and you know what it is, you have to run into a really serious issue and get put through a really serious machine for them to figure out what the hell is in there.
How are you going to inject it though when you get to that country?
Most countries you can buy needles over the counter. Look, if you're going to DR, if you're going to Cancun, just buy the fucking steroids over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, bro. If you're going to DR, if you're going to third world country, that's another thing that's just silly to me. If you're going to a third world country, just buy the fucking steroids over there. If you're going to especially if you're going to inject, you can take some of your pills with you if you're going to inject. If you're traveling New York to LA, just take the fucking labels of the stuff, put it in other items that look like it, check that shit in, and hope for the best. You should be in the clear. I mean,
So what do you tell the guy when you get there? You just tell the taxi driver as soon as you get to the airport, yo, take me to buy steroids. What do you tell him? Take me to the pharmacy.
You first go online and find supplement stores in that area, in that city, and once you go online and you find the supplement stores in the city. I mean, if it's a country where steroids are not criminalized the way they are in the U.S., where a steroid bottle is the same as having narcotics, if it's a country where it's not like that, you could you could make calls to the supplement stores and even the farmacia before you even come down. Long distance call, Skype, say, hey, you have this, you have that. I'll be there in a week. You could work that shit out. I wouldn't go like a cab driver and say, get me steroids. They could usually get narcotics, but probably not steroids. I would definitely.
They get narcotics.
Yeah, that's steroids. Just hit the supplement stores, man, muscle stores where they, in third world countries where they sell protein and BCAAs, they'll sell steroids behind the counter as well. In most
how do you say steroids in Spanish, just in case I ever go?
El esteroido.
Okay. They won't know steroids with no.
It's steroid. Or you say like steroid or testosterone, or testosterone, nandrolona. It's like nandrolone, or
What about juice? How do you say juice?
Oh, juice is jugo, but they don't go by. They don't call it jugo.
I can't just point at my voice and say juice. They don't know.
They don't. They just call it. They call. Funny enough. At least in Venezuela and Colombia, they call it pincho. Pincho means the injection, like the injection site. They just call it site. Or they call it going on cycle. There is no words. They call them anabolics, or they call it going on cycle, or they call it hitting the pincho, hitting the needle. But they don't, it's not like saws, gear, juice like we have. There isn't really a word for it that I know of yet.
So if I get to the resort, I can go to the front desk dude. It's easy to get narcotics, and just say, "Hey, narcotics," and he'll hook me up. You think?
Usually cab drivers.
The cab drivers got the hookup. Okay.
Usually cab drivers have the hookup. Front desk people, The front desk people usually very well paid. They're usually the ones that are bilingual. Those are most likely going to be afraid of their job a little bit. The bellman, the guy takes you up to your room. They're usually down to help out with whatever. Cab drivers are down to help out with whatever. And look, with social media, with Facebook, you can just network and find the places in the city that you're going to and start talking about the steroids and everything you're going to encounter when you get there. I mean, before you even go. In a lot of these countries, steroids are not illegal. They're not such a big deal. Look, for example, I know in Colombia, where I go a lot, they are not illegal to possess, to sell, to use, nothing. You're not allowed to make them. If you make steroids, they might put you in jail for making fake medications, quote unquote. But if you are using them, buying them, selling them, you could buy them pretty much over the counter at any pharmacy. You could buy testosterone here.
All right, buddy, that's good information. So the next one is he's in his mid-30s. He's new to the game, and he wants to know, his friend kind of introduced him to steroids. He knows absolutely nothing about them. He wants to know what's the next step because he wants to educate himself on it. So let me say first, when I was in that situation, a friend of mine also got me, interested in steroids. So the first thing I did is I went online. I started Googling, and I came across the old EF forum. And the old EF forum was chock full of information. There were a lot of vets on there. And I kind of, networked with some of these vets. I kind of picked their brain a little bit, some of these moderators on there. And I kind of learned that way. So I think that's a good first step. I saw, I read a lot of threads, looked at a lot of posts from people. If I had questions, I posted a thread and asked. And that's kind of how I got into the game. So I learned that way. I think today there's a lot more information out there. If you go on our forum, evolutionary.org forum, there's so many articles on every compound, and there's stacks, and there's all kinds of information. There's information how to get blood work. There's information on every compound, every supplement, every SARM, everything. So it's chock full of information. So there's really no excuse today, I think, to do your own homework. And at the end of the day, reach out to me, Steve SMI, on the forum if you have further questions. And I'll do my best to definitely help you. I'm a busy guy, but I'll do my best to help you with any questions you have. But, it's always good to just do your homework. Don't listen to friends. There's a lot of bad information that you will get from listening to buddies of yours. Who really don't know what they're doing either, but they, even though they've used steroids for like maybe 2-3 years or 5 years, they still don't know what they're doing. So you really need to do your own homework before you put stuff in your body. How about you, Rick? How'd you get into the steroid game and originally, and what's your advice today for guys?
Quick run through. I discussed it on another podcast of how I got into it, but basically, I was always kind of interested in juice and steroids just from hearing it mentioned, being in the gym and as a teenager and working out. And I used to buy a lot of supplements, and I picked up a magazine one day. It was 2 blonde girls on the cover working out, 2 blonde girls. I believe that was the first issue I picked up. I can't quite remember. It might have been earlier, but it was Muscle Media 2000. And I started reading articles by Dan Duchesne. I started reading articles by Bill Phillips. Started reading a lot of information there. Bought some Phosphagen, bought some EAS products. Bought into Vanadil at the time. And I really started to learn about steroids and the legality of steroids and everything during the Muscle Media 2000 era, when I was reading all those articles. And then that was very late 90-ish. And then around 1999, I actually got online to, it was the first computer that we had at the house. It was a birthday gift from my dad when I was about 18. And I just got online and I found Elite Fitness. I found elitefitness.com just shy of the year 2000 going in. And man, it was just a treasure trove of information.